we break right through.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping into a really powerful philosophy for how to get by in this, increasingly complex world of ours. It's a blueprint for learning and for resilience that breaks down walls, both literally and figuratively. So let's get into it.
Right at the heart of this whole thing is that classic saying, sound in body, sound in mind. But look, this is not just about going to the gym. It's about a complete, holistic approach to building up the mental and physical muscles we need to thrive. Think of it as our guiding principle for learning without borders throughout our whole lives.
So just think about it for a second. Everything is constantly changing, right? Technology, society, we're just flooded with information. So what are the skills we actually need to succeed? Is it about knowing one thing super well, or is it maybe something a little more flexible? That's the big question we're trying to answer here.
To even begin to answer that, we've got to face this huge roadblock first, the way we chop up knowledge into little pieces. We build these walls between departments, between industries, between different fields of study. We call them silos. And these things, they don't just trap information. They stop us from thinking in an integrated way, and that has some pretty big consequences.
This quote from Kisam Jong just hits the nail on the head. When we get too specialized, we totally lose sight of the bigger picture. We end up with these massive blind spots. And in a world where all the biggest challenges are connected, that kind of over-specialization actually gets in the way of making any real progress.
And this isn't just some abstract idea, These silos cause real problems. Take Nokia Networks, for example. They had this project management system called the waterfall model, and it was just incredibly rigid. One team had to finish their part completely before the next team could even start. And the result? You guessed it. Huge delays, a ton of friction between teams, and a project that was basically being strangled by its own structure.
The difference is just night and day. On one side, you have that siloed, rigid, linear way of working where nobody's really talking to each other. And on the other, you have a collaborative model that's flexible, cross-functional, where everybody feels like they own a piece of it. The results you get are just worlds apart.
So the big question is, how do we knock down these silos? How do we get from that stiff, old-fashioned model to one that's actually collaborative? Well, it turns out there are some seriously effective tools we can use. This is the toolkit for tearing down those barriers.
First up in the toolkit is co-creation. Now this totally flips the old top-down way of doing things on its head. Instead of some expert creating something all by themselves, everyone gets a voice. You have industry folks, educators, and even the learners themselves all working together to build something. It's about shared ownership right from the get-go. And the numbers on this are just wow. A Harvard Business Review study found that teams that work this way are 60% more innovative. Other data shows you can boost learner engagement by 40% and cut the time it takes to develop content by 60%. So this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It's a proven way to get better results way faster. Okay, tool number 2, workshop facilitation. This is where you get a bunch of different people in a room together, but with one secret ingredient, a neutral guide, a facilitator. Their only job is to guide the conversation, manage the group, and make sure everyone stays focused and productive. They basically cut through all that political nonsense and those meetings that go nowhere. And the impact of this? It's huge. Studies have shown that having a professional facilitator can cut the time it takes to finish a project by up to 75%. Let that sink in. That's not just a tiny improvement. That is a total game changer for getting things done. And a lot of times, this happens using frameworks like the famous 5-day design sprint. It forces you through this logical process. You start by really deeply understanding the problem. Only then are you allowed to ideate or brainstorm solutions. Then you decide on the best path. You build a quick and dirty prototype, and finally, you test it with actual people. In just 1 week, you can skip months of debate and go from a basic idea to real feedback from the real world. Okay, so we've talked about the problem, the silos, and we've got the tools to fix it. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How do we take this sound in body, sound in mind idea and make it real? Let's take a look at learning in action. And this is where it gets really cool. The safe camps for kids are just a perfect example of this. They are not just sitting in some stuffy classroom. No way. They're out there learning parkour for agility, practical self-defense, how to manage conflict, and even first responder skills. And they're having an absolute blast, doing things like boffer battles and Nerf wars, which are secretly teaching them strategy and teamwork. So what's the point of all this fun and action? Well, it all ties back to the main mission, giving these young people life skills for life.
It's all about building their resilience, their confidence, and giving them practical skills they can actually use in the real world, long after camp is over.
But this whole philosophy, it's not just for kids. It actually expands out into this whole ecosystem. You've got SAFE, which we just talked about, but then there's HELP, which is for higher education and professionals. There's FAST, which focuses on fitness, and PEPS, which delivers all this knowledge in digital formats, you see? Each piece supports the others, creating this complete system for learning your whole life.
So, when you start to pull all these pieces together, this really clear picture starts to form. It's a vision for learning that isn't stuck inside a classroom or limited by what subject you're studying or how old you are. It is truly learning without borders.
So let's just tie this all together, shall we? The goal, our guiding star, is to achieve a sound mind and a sound body. We've seen that to get there, we have to start by breaking down those silos. Then we use powerful collaborative tools to build bridges. And finally, we put it all into practice with hands-on, real-world learning. It's a complete system, from the big idea all the way down to the action.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a look at your own world, your job, your community, maybe even just how you learn new things. Where are the walls? Where are those silos that are holding you back? And now that you've got the toolkit, what's just one small thing you can do to start knocking them down?
Unite, by experience, we shine so bright.